why real estate out of all the things?
I don't know, buddy. Like I think in life there's obviously you connect the dots. You don't know where you're heading. Steve Jobs said this in his I think his Stanford speech. But you don't, you're going. You don't know where you're going. But if you turn around, you kind of see your dots how they connect. Life journey for me, like we grew up. The way I grew up was, a European family, so not very supportive with schooling or anything. Realistically, you grew up like a cicoria, and if you want to translate it from Italian to English, it's a dandelion, so basically a wild flower. And you kind of, if you made it, you made it. So that's typically how I grew up, and literally given nothing from our parents. But it's all about drive, right? And then finding something that you obsess about, or you want to be better, and you want to keep going, because life's all about evolution, right? And evolving. Because if you notice between friends, family members, and people around you, colleagues, you'll be switching. Like I even for myself, I'm always in transition between people, because it's if you're in a forward motion, keep going, you keep pushing, you keep want to improve yourself, and you different perspectives in life, and you're always switching. It makes people around you very uncomfortable, especially family. So there's a lot of times you're gonna have to switch gears, and then either limit time with like negative people, or find new ones, because there is 7 odd billion people in the world that you can replace anybody that's negative in your world. It's not on the same journey. But again, yeah, connecting the dots. Like I said, we grew up with nothing but a drive, and then we first job was a mechanic, sweeping floors, janitorial work, and the odd thing that the oil change. But you have a passion, you want to be better and stuff like that. So from that, you became shop foreman, but you also put the time in. You never looked at how much money you were making. You made sure you were this better than everyone around you. And I think if you take that approach into anything in life, you'll be successful. It's a direct correlation to how much money you make is how talented you are, right? From mechanics, we went into construction with my dad, and we did that. There was no more growth in that, so I switched off into real estate. And real estate was easy transition. I think we talked about this in the past, where I had rental properties early on. I read a book, Rich Dad Poor Dad, very, very important book that I read. That was the first book I read outside of school. And again, I didn't go into secondary, I didn't go to university. I did college later, but literally it was like high school, then straight to work. So anything that we learn today is basically self-learned, right? So the last 10 years, I've probably read about 140 books on self-development, psychology, and also obviously a lot of biographies on successful people of how they've done it. So it's just a constant, just entering new ideas into your mind and evolving. So yeah, I think from once we got out of construction, went into real estate, yeah, we started from ground zero, right? The problem is with families, they don't use you until you're successful. So we had to, what do you do? How do you make money? And for me, it was like, my wife, she's a stay-at-home mom, so it was always the pressure on me, which I don't care. That was our agreement when we first met. So I had to go out and hustle. And what do? You got to do things that make you uncomfortable. That's obviously a sign of growth when you're uncomfortable. So it's cold calling, door knocking. And, we're from a family where you're not allowed to disturb anybody. If you're a European family, you can't. If you go to an aunt's house and they offer you something to eat, you can't accept it, even though you're starving. It was like, no, you don't, you can't put people out. You got to just, be disciplined. So cold calling, door knocking basically started my career and gave me the confidence to kind of push myself every day and break that mold that we grew up in, right? And, obviously the sales training and stuff like that. We spent over I did $150,000 in coaching the last 11 years, literally, maybe more. I don't even know. And Napoleon Hill's book was great, The Think and Grow Rich. I usually read it once a year. I didn't read it this year just yet,
When was the last time you read it?
Last year.
Okay.
Yeah, usually read it with Hussein. We usually read it before we do our mastermind in December. I don't know if it was because the age group of that era may have been shorter than today's, 90 to 100 years old. Maybe they only lived to 60, I don't know. But what he said there was very interesting. He's like, you make all your money between 40 and 50, right? And look, so now back to Steve Jobs. Look behind you, connect the dots. So 30 to 40, we just unloaded $7 million of real estate in the last 30 days. But this is a 10-year, I don't know where I'm going with this, but every year, instead of buying a Porsche or buying something, that was not going to be worth anything, I always put it back into real estate. We had a smaller house. We had only a 1,300 square foot house. We lived there 7 years, and I was making substantial amount of money then through real estate. But every dollar we put back into real estate. We did all joint ventures, 30 to 40 with partners. I did all the work. I did all the property management free of charge. These guys had a great ride with me, all my partners. What people don't understand, you can't just get paid on every fucking dollar. You know what I mean? Anything you do, every minute. Because if you're learning more than the next guy, you're going to be ahead at the end. You're taking all this knowledge. So the last 10 years of all these joint ventures, all these investments, I got only the opportunities because I had someone else believe in me to give me money and buy something. So I have to obviously appreciate and be grateful for people to give me their hard-earned money to join a joint venture with me and go, right? But now going from 40 to 50, we've already bought the first property in Florida, no joint venture. That's our first investment property, no joint venture, okay? So that's already 40 to 50, we're gonna make all our money. We're cashed out all this additional cash now. And so I kind of, looking at how much money we invested and what the return was the last 10 years, we basically 5x'd our money. So whatever, if we put $1 in, I turned it into 5 in 10 years. That's what it equated to at the end. So, again, we always stretching, making more, because we never grew up with no money, right? I didn't have any money. No one gave me nothing in my family. It's like you had to earn it all yourself and be smart with it. So this is why, to be successful, you gotta, and I wouldn't even say I'm successful, just making some right decisions and being disciplined, and away you go. So every dollar I made it into $5, and this is how we cashed out. So 40 to 50 now is where I'm going to make all my money, because now I don't really need joint venture partners anymore. Now it's all going to be single effort. So $7 million of real estate that we unloaded, yeah, majority of it's mine, fair enough, but ultimately it's going to be all mine going forward. And if we do joint ventures, it's going to be more of a short-term a venture rather. Like we're going to buy, fix, flip, or whatever. Buy, land, build, flip, cash out. Everyone, goes a separate way into the next project. It's not going to be like a long-term partnership where I'm a slave at work. My time is much more valuable now than, let's say, 10 years ago, and I understand that. So future, we don't know. I think a lot of it will be done in Florida for sure. I think that'll give us a better opportunity to build right away because of the less red tape, cost of purchasing land, cost of developing it, cost of actually construction is going to be a lot less. So I think the next 10 years will be a lot of investment into Florida, and that'll be the future where we make all our money, to be honest. I want to have like a normal life too, like a 9 to 5 rather, or like a 7 to 5, even a 6 to 5, I don't care. But like, after hours, it'd be nice to just kind of enjoy the family. Because even now, obviously, we're hustling nonstop. You're always grinding, man. You got to answer the phone. If you don't answer the phone, your clients are going somewhere else. And I don't blame them, because that's your job. That's what you chose. It's like being a doctor and never wanting to operate. You gotta keep operating. And when you don't want to operate anymore, you gotta unplug. Maybe do consulting at that point. And that's why a lot of realtors turn into coaches, because they don't want to do the hustle, the grind. And then they'll just they'll still enjoy the business, but they'll do the coaching aspect of it rather than the actual practice. So, yeah, I think that's, because again, the family suffers, right? If you're always, on edge, you got a deal going, there's something always brewing in your mind, you're never present, and that's huge. You get into this business and you sacrifice your health and your family, everything towards to make money. But it's so ridiculous. As you get older, you become wiser, and you start to, they say there's the 5 assets of life, right? You got financial, you got spiritual, you got physical, you got mental, and you got financial. But you have to fill these things up in the day. But you can't just focus on one. If you focus just on financial, you screw your family, you screw your health, you screw your psychological mind, and then you got nothing spiritual. You're dead. You're an empty soul. So you almost have to fill these 5 buckets daily, right? You gotta just keep depositing money into each bucket. And that's, if you see me 10 years ago, I'll show you pictures, like love handles the whole thing. Because I'm a short guy, I'm like close to 5'7", if I'm lucky, you know what I mean? If I'm close to 5'7", and I was at 170 pounds, I gained, I don't know, it was like 166 to 170 when I started real estate, because we ate like shit and we were just focused on trying to make money. I jeopardized my health. And now, if you look at me 10 years later, at 40 years old, the best condition of my life. I fast daily, I eat well, I exercise at least 90 minutes a day. I'm also reading for psychological, spiritual, financial. Obviously, we're making good decisions. And in family, we try to invest as much time as we can. And I think that's, right now, I have to more focus there a little bit more with the family, with the kids at this age, because yeah, I mean, they're caretakers, right? And so for their future, if we can't guide them and mentally prepare them to go forward, we failed as a parent. So, yeah, there's obviously a much improvement in all those topics that I got to do, but I think families is a huge one. I gotta reinvest some time and effort. Yeah.
And then to make that shift, like over the next 5 years, let's say 10 years, to like being able to change those balances.
Well, they got to be done within the year.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, fuck, 5 years, you're dead already.
So how are you gonna go about that?
What?
Like, what are you gonna switch about what you're doing?
With family?
Yeah.
You just spend more time. Just don't answer your phone. It's simple. Don't overthink things, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm away for the weekend. My assistant will handle everything, and my assistant's better than me. Naturally, you got to make money because everyone's relying on me to bring something home, right? Like everyone's eating and having their lives because of me. So I have to, obviously, there's a lot of responsibility there, and I got to make sure that comes in. I can't be selfish and say, hey, I'm going to just take me time and not produce anything for the family. I got to keep hustling, right? Naturally, and I will hustle for life. That's not a question. It's in the DNA, but. I think the imbalance basically with family, if you really think about it, is the chaotic market that we're in. We're in such a chaotic market where it's like every second, every minute counted. If you weren't on top of the game, if you didn't know what past sold, if you didn't know what the inventory was coming out, you couldn't keep up. Even me, I was struggling. You had to, because we're such used to a calming market, it was nice, right? You had time to think and do stuff. At the end, it's not these glass awards that we get. Who gives a shit? It's all about what your accountant says at the end of the year, that what you've earned and what you're allowed to reinvest back into the market. That's the victory, not a glass award. Like I did Titan last year, which is great, fantastic. But we know it's based on inflation because I did my original deals. I think it was 42 deals last year. That's what I do. It's like, almost one deal a week. But the tightening came because of inflation of the current prices. Now you're going to see next year we'll probably be chairman again, right? But that's reality. I think you need to understand that. So, or maybe I'll do more. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe next year we'll still do tighten because of the overinflated prices. Yeah. So
then just like the longer you go, the more rewards you're going to get because prices just keep going up.
Yeah, everyone gets an award. It's what you keep at the end, right? Yeah.
So for Steve, what's the next 5 years look like in terms of what you're going to be doing and offering? Are you still going to move forward with the same kind of plans that you had originally, where you wanted to get into building and doing stuff?
Yeah. The plans, I'm never changing those plans. To build, and I'll have to die before I don't build, right? Like literally, it has to get done. Like we have to do. I want to at least have one of those under my belt, right? So, and the goals for the kids is obviously to do it, to do the. To give them a company where they can have to develop, right? Because again, we sell real estate. We're in commission based. We really don't have a business to sell. We have clientele if they're loyal to us, but we don't have like structure. What do we have? Yeah. Like if you're a builder, you own land. You have future, developments in the pipe, and you keep buying land, so you have like a new. Look at this! I can still talk with all this going on, right? You always have a rollover of business going forward, right? So you always have like a 3 to 5 year plan, and that's what I want to get to them. But I don't know if they want to get into construction or do all that, right? Like I could be wrong. Like I think our kids, they have to be focused on what they want to do. So like whatever passions they want to follow is important. Yeah. So I don't know. See.
If they don't want to get into it. What are you going to do with what you build?
Sell it all out and then keep it as an investment properties and put them as a trustee on this whole holding company, and they get paid a salary on it. At least they want to be a painter, a singer, whatever they want to do. If it's an art they want to follow, at least I've done my job to kind of support them while I'm gone, right? So if you put them as a director, they make a check. Let's say you pay them $250,000, $300K a year. Let's hopefully if you get to that point. So they have a great life. They'll still be passionate about life. They'll still really love what they're doing, but they don't got to worry about money. I think that's the main focus, because the worst thing is to do something you don't like for money. What's the difference between prostitution and that? Yeah. You're doing something every day that you don't like for money. But if you do something that you like and you're passionate about it, then life's going to be a lot easier. It's going to be a lot happier. Right, so we'll see what happens.
What's the next step for Steve personally in terms of like, are you gonna keep grinding until you?
No, I think no.
Chill?
No, I'm gonna chill.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you have a specific age?
You only live once, right? Like it's crazy. Like, why would you want to?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna work. Let's say as you retire, you're gonna still do some, investing. You buy some, good real estate deals and stuff like that. But it's not gonna be. Yeah, you should probably still go to the office every day, but you go from like 8 to like 11, and then you're done. Then you might go golfing, right? Like that's the point. Like I don't want to be useless and just sit at home and watch TV. Like you got to have a balanced day. I think obviously work is always going to give you that sharper edge where you're making decisions. But to sit in an office all day and like think about dollars, no friggin' way.
Yeah.
Yeah, life is precious. It's a gift. Every day's a gift. We don't even know how long we're going to be here, right? So what are you going to do? I made X amount of dollars. Who cares? Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
Nobody gives a shit. Imagine your tombstone, like your gravestone at the end. No, what is it going to read? He went to work every day and made money. Wow, that's exciting. You're going to walk by. Imagine it was a museum and there was just all gravestones lined up and that one read that. He worked day and night, grinded, made so much money. And that's it. There's no more. His family hated him. His health was shit. It had no exterior passions for, like nothing. Just basically, like, you'd walk by it in a museum. It'd be the most boring piece of art there. But if you went to someone that's more of a balance, it had, he worked, he made his money, but he moved it around. He was passionate about life. He sailed, he did this, he raced cars, spent every, chance he got with his family, gave back to his community, gave back to his children. It might be more exciting. Maybe that's not even as exciting as other ones, but I mean, I think that'll fall up in that gravestone, right? I just want to live a normal, well-balanced life. I want to have a few bucks to throw around. I want to be able to buy cars, enjoy that. New experiences is going to be huge, right? And you want your kids to have that too. You don't want to just, how we grew up with immigrant parents, is like you can't do anything. We did nothing.
Yeah.
You went to work and you came home and you were miserable. Like, that's ridiculous. And that's the environment we grew up in, right?
Was there a specific time where your mindset kind of shifted from, I got to make as much money as I can, and money was like the measuring stick versus like now it's
the first 5 years.
Okay.
You got to think, when I got into real estate, I had a mental burnout for at least the first 6 years of real estate. So let's say 2010 to 2016, fried. No, I'm serious. It was literally mental meltdown, right? And then 17, I had a little bit of my body, half my body goes numb. God knows what happened to me. Yeah, so MRIs, all this shit. And then just at that point there, you know what, I found my threshold in life, like my line. It's like, hey, you got to your point. When you get here, you got to back off. You got to start unplugging. And I found, like, even in 2016, it was like my wife went out, all the kids. Imagine you worked all your ass off the first 4 months of the year. Like now we're in May, so this is usually a good time for me to kind of just a little bit relax. But it's like my wife went out, everyone was out, but I have no passions, nothing to do, like zero. How scary is that?
Yeah.
So basically the first 6 years of real estate, I just worked to do something, like to buy, whatever, take listings and sell them, commission based. But I have nothing left. Wow, that was terrifying. So 17, half my body goes numb. It's okay now. And then I start taking care of my health way more, because I've always worked out, but not to the extent now. I like to keep between like 9 to 11% body fat and stuff like that. Not because I don't care how I look, it's how I feel, more important, right? And it's also longevity, right?
Yeah.
Like my goal is to live to 100, so.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now it's more of just like life in general, having a better life and feeling better.
Yeah,
general,
for sure.
Right?
For sure.
Instead of like trying to grind and achieve that.
Yeah, you got to work, right? You got to work, but at the end, it's. I mean, so in the last 10 years, it's a huge. You become wiser, right? If you learn from your mistakes, like you're only getting better. So like I can't wait to be 50. How much more am I going to learn? If I learn this much in the last 10 years, what does the next 10 years hold? What does the next 20? Like that's why they always say like the prophet's usually an elder man or whatever, right? Or a woman, and it's literally why? It's because it's life experiences. They can kind of, as long as you got a good perspective in life, you kind of look back of, what was right, what was wrong, and also admit when you're wrong, right? Like, hey, I was wrong. It is what it is, Let's move on.
Is there anything specifically like that you want to accomplish, or even try in the next, let's say, 10 years? Are there things that you want to do, like? You said that you want to build something. That would be
for work,
list, like a bucket list.
Yeah, work. We know what I want to do in work,
yeah.
right? It's out in the open. I think for like personally,
yeah,
I think a cool thing would do is to actually race. I would love to do like weather tech, like something like a GT cars, right? Like a AMG Mercedes or something like that, or even like the Porsche Cup. I know you can buy into that; it's very expensive, but I would love to do that, right? Like I think for yeah, there's a lot of stuff. I'd love to learn how to sail. I think there's a whole bunch of shit out there, right? That's quite cool. I want to buy a boat. If we station half our time in Florida, I'm definitely gonna buy something, right? A boat. Maybe learn how to fish again. I like stuff like that, right? Yeah. I think also to keep active. Oh, and so I'm in jiu-jitsu now. In 10 years, imagine being a black belt. Like it's a 10-year process, but 10 years, if you do a commitment, I'm 50 and I'm a black belt, like wild. You know, it started very late, but it'd be cool, right? Yeah.
What's the journey been like?
Yeah, it's just a journey. I don't know. It's been beautiful. What can you say? It's nice. It's got everything that you want. It's got good times, hard times. It's got times you got to make very difficult decisions, and sometimes everything just flows and does itself. So it's multifaceted, but I think it's beautiful. It's a part of life journey. As long as we're here and healthy, and everyone around you is here and healthy, you have another chance the next day, right, to hammer. Yeah.